Well, hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens. But today, it's winter is crappening, isn't it? I'm Ronnie, that's Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Or as we call him, Begon,
Begon.
over in these parts.
What are you? If I'm Begon, are you Ronmund?
I'm
Rhaenyra?
Emron.
You're
I can be
Rhaenyra.
Emron, or who
I
am
think
I?
You're Rhaenyra.
I'm Ron
Ron.
instead of Ray
Begon
Ray.
and Ron.
I could be Ron Licent. I mean, let's
Wait,
face it. I'd like to think of myself as a Ray Ray, but I'm probably an Alicent. It's like that Sex in the City thing where you're like, "What Sex in the City girl are you?" And everyone's like, "Samantha Carey." We're all a bunch of fucking Mirandas eating cake out of the trash. So let's not lie to ourselves.
And let's also not lie to ourselves. Our names are way too different sounding to actually be part of House of the Dragon. If I'm gonna be Begon, you're gonna be Bagon. Okay, like that's just how it goes.
That's true.
Like you might be able to get away with like Bigun, but that's almost like that George R. R. Martin's like,
Bigun.
I don't know. I think like people could tell the difference between Bagon and Bigun. So let's do Bagon and Bagon.
Well, I
kind
hope
of my
you're
style.
begging because then if you became a stripper on the show, we could be like, "Oh my God, you guys begging strips." Get it?
Begging strips.
Begging strips.
Or I could just be a begging stripper.
Yeah, begging
like
strips.
my lap dance is just getting on someone's lap and then say, please give me money.
I would be that kind of stripper because people would not tip me. They'd be like, "Please put your shirt back on." I'd be like, "Please, though. Please."
I am begging from Harrenhal. Please give me some money.
All right. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're talking about the most hilarious show on television,
Truly.
House of the Dragon. This is a clusterfuck of a show in the best way possible. So much drama, so much telenovela action, que emoción, Ben, que emoción.
So
What
good.
emotion, you know? And really does. Really, I could use some more sobbing. Really from everybody. The men, the women, the dragons. I need some more dragon drama. But overall, just love what you guys are doing over there. Okay?
Yeah. Love the emphasis on wet, rainy, decrepit castle interiors this episode. That was a nice touch. And, dream sequences, it's always welcome. It was fun. Plus, also Ray Ray in a habit. I mean, that's just fun.
Can I just say, Ray Ray looks adorable in a habit. And I
know.
don't think that everybody can pull off a habit, but shockingly, Ray Ray really nailed that habit. Also, have you heard that in the books, Ray Ray is supposed to be chunky? They describe her as like a bigger woman because she's had,
Did not
she's
hear that.
probably still having kids. I mean, I don't know. But people are like, why are they not casting, a bigger Why aren't they casting Brandon, what's his buns? What's that guy's name? Curious
Ralph?
George? No. The guy.
Brandon Routh. Why aren't they casting Brandon Routh in this?
Why aren't they casting Brandon Routh? No, Brandon Gleeson. Is that his name? He played.
Brandon Gleeson, yes.
Yeah. Why aren't they casting? Was he Curious George? Wait, hold on.
I have no idea.
Tarzan.
No,
Come on, Ben.
Brendan Gleeson is not
Brendan-
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan
Gleeson's a very
Fraser.
different person. I
Yes,
was like,
because he played the big guy in that movie, and then people were mad at him for playing a big guy when he's not that big. And now
Why are they
people
not
are
casting
probably.
Brenda Blethyn? Why not Brenda Blethyn
Oh my
as Ray
God.
Ray?
You know what? If you're still listening to this recap, fucking go away already. Why are you even here? Okay? This is a mess. Go home. Okay, so we can continue, Ben. I warned them. So anyway, she's supposed to be bigger. And through parts of this, and I am up and down with my weight. I'm a bigger person inside, no matter what I am physically. And I would love to see a bigger Ray Ray, personally. But I'm not going to thin shame the woman. Anyway, the point is, she's been wearing this very heavy drapery. I mean, I guess everybody does because it's like Game of Thrones. So like no one's like in a swimsuit, you know what I mean? But she's like in very heavy drapery for her clothes. And I thought they were like, oh, maybe they're making Ray Ray bigger this season. Like she's going to become a big queen, which I would love. But nope, they put her in that habit. And I was like, damn. Not only does she look good in a habit, but Westeros has like the hottest habits I've ever seen. Like what a figure glorifying habit that was.
Yeah, that is a good habit, and it's a hard habit to break, one might say. But I think if she wore that habit, she may do much better winning over the people. Like she just has to be like, look, I'm in a habit, I'm gentle, I'm fun, I'm a great time. You can trust me, and I think people would be like, yeah, you know what? I actually think I like that habit. I think I'm gonna vote for Ray Ray.
Vote for Ray Ray. Make it a habit to vote for Ray Ray.
Well, the episode opens up with the implications of this dreaded war on, I won't say the small folk, because the small folk apparently only live in the city. And by the way, could we see the small folk doing something else? I'm saying this because I just feel like we get such a one-dimensional view of the small folk. They're either like marauding in like a whorehouse, or they're getting drunk at the pub, or they're just in the streets being awful. And let me tell you something. I guarantee you there are like many small folk who are just like chill, who are just at home, just like hanging out, eating some food, just chatting.
No,
Like,
well, you don't see them. I mean, it's like the real world, not the TV show, but like the actual real world. You don't see those people. We're at home. The people you see in public are absolute morons. Like, literally, I walk into public and I'm like, well, I mean, if it's going to be the end of the world, now's the time. Literally, right here. You know, this food court right here. Do it.
I just feel like everyone on the streets of Westeros is always sobbing or like attacking or drunk. And it's like, where are the people who are just walking around like gossiping about their friends? Like, where
You want to
was, like,
talk
the
about
chill
your
people?
taxes doing nothing for you. I mean, if you're going to cry, that's the city to cry in. There's literally nothing. It's like, they pay like 70% in taxes over there. They already make like a cent an hour. Then they pay all that to taxes. They don't have a McDonald's. Like, they don't have a fucking, they don't have
anything.
decent streets. The horses just shitting all over the place.
Yeah.
Look at the
just-
crime. Look at the
Yeah.
crime.
Yeah, it's just the small folk. Well, now we're in the countryside. We're actually technically in the Riverlands, which is an oxymoron if you really think about it. Is it a river or is it land? But we are having two feuding families, houses or whatever. So we have these basically young toxic males. They've just come of age. They have their first swords. They're excited to use them. And so we have this first one.
But they're like baby toxic. They're like trying to pretend they're toxic.
Yeah.
But they're like little dough. Right?
Like they
They're
just
like
got their
little
driver's
babies.
license. Yeah, like they just got their driver's license. So they're driving really fast.
Yeah.
on the streets. But they
I'm
don't-
like, guys, you have so much life left to ruin. You know, like you don't need to just spend it all right now on this field. Also, here's what else small people do. Small folk. I shouldn't say small people. I don't like this term small folk. I feel like it's offensive, but whatever. I feel like another thing they do on this show is just like stand around a field and talk. Like,
Yeah.
guys, have you invented slides yet? At least like do something. Go sit on a rock. You're
Games,
literally
sports.
standing around in every scene talking in the
Yeah.
field.
You literally have like 6 guys with like standing near a border, and then you have another 6 guys standing near a border, and they're like, they're like talking towards each other, like talking at each other, okay? And so one guy named Davos is like, Bracken, put the boundary stones back, and then this guy Aaron is like, well, we didn't move the boundary stones. So then Davos is like, oh, so the stones just moved themselves then, just rolled their way over so bracken cows can fill their bellies on blackwood grass.
Oh yeah, we're just all dying to eat your grass. You know, and you know who else could use a good complaining session? A fucking cow. Okay. Now you're gonna give the cow shit for eating grass over a border. Give me a fucking break. The cow's stuck with grass all day. Like, have a heart. And these guys, first of all, they're the Brackens and the Blackwoods. I'm going with the Brackens because they sound like they have good hair. I'm just gonna go out there and say that. I'm Team Bracken, but I think the Brackens are Team Ray Ray, right?
I think they are. Let's see. Yeah, I think I
Because they call him a baby killer. No.
Well, as Aaron says, your false queen Rhaenyra is a kinslayer, so that means that Davos is pro Ray Ray, and that means that I think Davos is Blackwood.
I don't know. I
They
don't
really
care.
need
Really.
better branding.
I think I'm just with Team Bracken because I like their hair. So one of them's like, you're a baby killer. And then the other one's like, what? How dare you? And they're like, your false queen, Rhaenyra, she's a baby king slayer. She slayed a baby king. And then he's like, your uncle declared for Aegon. Oh, let's fight over our parents' fucking problems. You know, my parents have too many problems. I cannot spend time fighting over my parents' problems. My parents are their own fucking people. I feel like someone needs to tell the small folk of Westeros, your parents are also just fucked up people. Don't take it too personally. Just let them fight their own thing. Maybe they're putting their keys in a bowl at a party every once in a while. Like, are you going to freak out when your Spanish teacher is there in the morning? You know what I mean? No, just get on with your fucking life, okay? You don't need to murder each other. But they do. And they're like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. And then we just cut to everybody dead.
All these people, everyone came out of the door, like their barns and everything, and was like, did you hear that they moved the boulder stones? Outrageous. And so they came out, they fought. And there's also a lovely windmill. By the way, the whole episode opens with this beautiful windmill. Now it's burned down, which I don't know what even the point of that is, because like if you're gonna like fight like that, you might as well take over the windmill and use the windmill. But like one family burned down a windmill, so you're just ruining your land value at that point.
It's also a difficult thing to burn down a windmill because it's just a big, tall thing of stone. I mean, there's so much other things to burn down, you know?
I just feel like it's stupid for them to do that.
And so I think it was one of the guys fighting we see with a sword in his neck at the end. And flies play around and stuff. Yeah,
it's classic fly activity. Flies they love their games. They love playing around a dead head.
Flies really know how to live. I feel like in every film and TV thing, we're like, the poor people, or like, you know, why are people fighting their parents' battles? No one feels bad for flies. You know why? Because they know how to live. They party. Yeah. You poop, they will make a party out of it. You die, they'll make a party out of it. You have a delicious meal, they'll make a party out of that too. Like, they will party the same come rain or shine.
This is a fly conversation that you will probably hear around the Red Keep. Oh my God, do you know what I love? What? Smelly people. Me too. I literally love smelly people. I know. Do you want to go like play around some smelly people? Yes, let's do that right now.
But you know what else I love? People that smell good. And also people that don't smell at all. And also like dirty things, but also clean things.
You know what I love? Food that's like kind of old. I know it's weird, but I just like love old food.
But also new food. I love all kinds of food. They, like, actually, you can literally do nothing and please a fucking fly is the point. Okay. They are not picky.
Poop. I love poop.
Love it. Also, things before they turn into poop. I'd like literally love everything. So, okay. So, you know, that's just like a little vignette. All the dead people, all the dead taxpayers.
And the flies too.
And the flies, yeah. The flies are like, we're still winning. Like, I don't know who's winning the human war, but the flies are winning this war. That's for sure. The fly war. So then we go to Ray, and we're at the twin, like, funeral sesh, I guess. Yeah. There's like the twins are lying next to each other.
It's the funeral of Eric and Eric.
Yeah.
They're being buried, which I guess in the lore of this show, they don't get buried in caskets. They just put a nice blanket down and sort of surround their shoulders, which is good because I don't know if you noticed in the opening credits in the tapestry, we saw the baby, the toddler. They showed him being sort of like dead in the tapestry, and then like blood goes across his neck to allude that his head was decapitated. So,
you know, whoever made that tapestry is doing a great job, because then we also saw all the dead rat catchers after that, all the hung rat catchers. And I was like, wow, the rat catchers made it onto a blanket. That's pretty big.
Someone was like, hey, so Joanne, since you just got married, I made you a blanket, just a little something. It's just fun. And this is just like represents you and your family. And then I just put some dead rat catchers on it. I hope you don't mind. I just thought I wanted to really depict that as an important part of our lives.
It's mage. I was happy for the rat catchers because they never thought they were going to be famous like that. And now somebody's like literally cuddling with them somewhere, you know?
I know.
They're famous. So, because that's like a blockbuster movie back then, you know, being on a blanket. They're like the Tom Cruise.
That was Top Gun. Top tapestry. People, they carry that tapestry through the streets and go, da, 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 da,
you want to talk about long acceptance speeches? The best tapestry of the year award. Oh my God. They are thanking people literally for the 20 years it took them to make that shit.
They call those the tappies. It's a really great, everyone tunes in for the tappies. Ratings have been down recently, but that's just because of the media landscape we live in. But yeah, it's a legacy. It's a legacy.
It used to air in the summer, but they had to change it to winter because like nobody wants blankets in the summer.
Yeah, they had to delay it this year because of the strikes.
Yeah. Okay, so they're giving twin funeral, and someone's like, oh fuck that other twin, whichever one he is, because he's a fucker.
Oh, you mean Eric?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Eric. Eric. Yes, not Eric. Yes, Eric. I thought you said Eric. No, Eric. Let's just bury them so we never have to have this conversation ever again.
And Rhaenyra's like, listen, I cannot fault him for like doing his job. The man did his job. And they're like, you killed an Amazon driver for throwing your package at the front door. And she's like, he did his job badly. And now he's beheaded. But these guys like literally were doing their job. Like, what do you want?
You know what? He was loyal to a dickhead, unfortunately, but he was loyal most importantly, you know?
Yeah. Loyal's loyal.
Yeah. So Rhaenys is talking to Rhaenyra, and she's like, I don't know. Otto Hightower, that guy, he used to eye fuck me in the court all the time. I feel like I understand him. And he wouldn't have allowed this. I think that he's not. I think this isn't him. There's someone else is doing this. There's hotter heads in power now. I don't know. We got to check this out.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? No one liked Dick Cheney until we got Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Let's all remember that, okay? Call Dick back. Someone call Dick back, okay? So we shot somebody in the face. Who cares? Like, literally, who cares at this point? So everybody's mind is kind of changing about old Otto. They're like, call Otto back.
He's getting a good edit this season. In the world of Real Housewives, he's getting a good, like, Camille Grammer season 2 edit, you know? So,
yeah.
So basically, Rhaenys is like, soon they will not even remember what it was that began the war in the first place. And Ray is like, it's pretty obvious because I was usurped. So let's not play that game. She's, oh, really? Or was it the child who was beheaded? Or when Aemon killed Luke? Or when Luke took Aemon's eyes? Or the time that Luke had a little bit more soup than Jace? Or the time that Aemon, tripped on a branch that Luke had put out there? Or, should I go on? There's so many examples.
She has a point, but like, look, here's how I look at it. This show started in very happy times. Everybody was covered in dirt and no one had lighting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Fast forward, it's bad times. Everyone's covered in dirt and there's no good lighting. Like, it's literally the same thing. So what are you going to do? You got to keep entertained. Just, keep doing whatever you're doing. You guys are doing great.
Yeah. So Ray is like, you know what's so funny about all this, if you really think about it, is that, like, last time I talked to Allison, she was like, you'd be like a great queen. And now all of a sudden, like, what the fuck, right? Does anyone else think that's kind of like wild that happened? And Rhaenys is like, oh, well, it's very funny that you mentioned that because she knew that war was coming and it would be savage beyond all compare. And by the way, there's no war so hateful to the gods as a war between kin. So let me just suckle on my lower lip while you think about that.
It was delicious, actually. I actually had some cilantro today. Have you had that? It's stuck in between my two bottom teeth.
I have the gene. I can't have that, unfortunately.
Delicious, unfortunately. Yeah. I think I'd still eat it, even if it tasted like soap to me.
It's just I can't. I see guacamole and I always want to dip a chip into it. But, you just can't have it. It's good. I need to lose some weight anyway.
Not in that habit you're about to put on, you don't. I'll tell you that. It's a fabulous habit.
It's a bespoke habit for you. So
lovely.
We need your head size to remain the same.
The habit curation in this town is really something. We don't have air conditioning yet, but whoever is designing those habits, God, do we have gay people yet? Is that a thing?
So Rhaenyra's like, okay, let's. I know.
Well, wait. By the way, I just have to say one thing. I like that she's one thing. It's like 20 minutes, and we've talked about 2 seconds. Right. But she's like, there's nothing more offensive to the gods than a war between kin. Have you read the Bible? Because God wrote that, and it opens with a war between kin. Okay,
that's kind of into it. Yeah,
God loves it. God loves a good brother killing brother story. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Right?
So Rhaenyra's like, well, it's funny about Alicent because she actually sent a raven, but I just don't really want to read her message. It's just like, whenever you get a raven and it says at AOL.com, you're like, oh, I don't even want to open this up. Is it just going to be a spam raven? You know what I'm doing? Not what I'm talking about.
I love that Ray's just like, oh, she sent a raven. I read the headline. It was like claws. That was it. Like, if you can't fit it like in the claw grasp, like if I can just like read beyond the claw between like the two little toe things and read your message, then I'll know. If you can't fit it in there, I don't have time to unravel your little scrolled up piece of paper, lady. Okay, I don't care how long it took this fucking raven to get here.
Yeah, Ray Ray's like, besides Rhaenys, I have to deal with a prince in Nigeria who needs my assistance. Like, you really need to be more discerning about which ravens you open up.
Oh, so you'll open those ones, will you? Yes, well, it turns out that I'm the only Ray Ray within 500 miles of the last Ray Ray to ever live. They had a house with a swimming pool, all right? It could be mine, really. All I have to do is send over my number from my Wells Fogs.
So basically,
Which one's the routing? I always forget.
it's the smaller number, but I have to advise you, please don't send this to. There's no such place as Nigeria.
Well, last time I tried to do this, I put the routing instead of the banking, and then it was sent back by Raven. I mean, it was 3 weeks. By then, they'd found another Ray Ray. Literally lost a fortune on that one.
It's a good thing I have eternal wealth, being a queen and all.
In this town, have you looked around? Have you? We don't even have insulation in this house. All right, back to it then. I didn't read her stupid Raven message. And she's like, don't be mad at her. It's the men around her that seek bloodshed. And it's like, well, she permitted it. And she says, well, you permitted the murder of a little boy in his bed. I mean, really, are we to judge? God damn it, the cilantro's delicious. Are you sure you don't want some?
So Ray Ray's like, well, let me have my first of 45 different instances of choking up this episode. Alicent is in King's Landing, and her son sits at my throne. There's nothing more to be said.
Oh, gosh. Doesn't it at least make you feel good that another blonde person got it? I mean, whatever happened to blonde unity?
Yeah, no, it just goes to show blondes are never happy.
Okay, our note taker today, Shelby, just wrote this. One last look at the bodies, and they barely covered them despite digging for the last 5 minutes. I love the gravedigger judgment, Shelby. Yes.
Shelby's
That's my kind of girl right there.
Shelby's like, what the fuck? You're going to sit there? Where are you putting the dirt? Like, look down at Ray Ray. She's like, who put all this dirt on my shoes? Like, oh, we're so sorry.
Shelby, of all the details so far in this show, that's what really got Shelby. She's like, fuck these people. Like, seriously, learn how to cover a body with dirt.
I know.
Am I right?
So now we go to the Red Keep, and look, there's Kristen Cole, and he's like leaning on a chair. He's all sad. It makes it look like he's looking in the grave. It's like it's a director's trick. And then this guy comes up. He's like, "It's all well, Lord Hand." And he's like, "Fine, it's time for me. Like, it's time for his first day on the job to show up to the small council as the new hand."
Yes. So that's what he's like, having a mini freak out. His acting's super weird, and I don't want to say he's a bad actor because I hate him. So I think that he's doing a good job. But it's weird acting because I think this is supposed to be him freaking out, like it's the biggest day of his life. And they said in the after show thingy that he's freaking out, but then they show him and he's just like, "I have a Caesar cut now." Exactly. That's his look.
I think that's what I was gonna say. This was technically the last scene pre-Caesar cut. So I think it was like the look on his face was not that he was concerned about can he do his job. The look on his face was like, is it time for me to take the plunge and do a Caesar cut?
Yeah. He's like, I need a new haircut. I've got a new job. I need a new haircut now. Am I too early or too late for the George Clooney?
He literally has Cersei's haircut in the late seasons of Game of Thrones, actually, if you think about it.
He does, but he's got a little of the curl going on.
Yeah. He's got a little of that. So he comes into the small meeting and everything, and all the guards, they're all looking at him like, this guy, really? So he comes in, and he's like, "Good morrow, your grace, my lords. Forgive my lateness." I was like, you shut up late on your first day at your new job. I mean,
seriously, to stare at a wall? Like, come on.
He was looking at books.
Aegon's like, important business, no doubt. And Kristen is like, oh, so I see we've appointed new knights to the King's Guard, your grace. And he's like, well, yeah, we lost some, didn't we? Maybe appoint some rat catchers.
Get it? Ha! So Kristen starts talking. Now they're talking. They do a whole lot of like administrative talking. Like, well, I don't know if you heard about this, but House Bracken was talking to House Blackwood, and they had a fight. And Samuel Blackwood took it upon himself, and now he's slain, and now the windmill is burned down. And then Bracken went on to talk to Brackish, which is a whole different house. They have great water, by the way. You can preserve anything in there. And then Brackish was getting mad at Blackpool. Blackpool, not to be confused with Blackwood. Blackpool is totally different. And then we also have Blackfire. Anyway, they're all fighting right now. Don't know really what to do. I say we just go in there and kill them all. What do you think?
Yeah, so they're basically like everybody's murdering each other out there. And he's like, good, because it's a war. And so people are fighting for us. The king's all excited. And they're like, yeah, it's a lot of dead people. And alive people are the ones that we use like for, slavery and like paying very little to deliver our Amazon boxes, building, rivers, malls, etc. We kind of need people to be alive because for rich people to be rich, there need to be poor people to make them feel rich. Do you understand? He's like, oh no.
And so, Aegon loves this. He's like, great, war. This is what I've been waiting for. Not war, what is it good for? War, what are we waiting for, right? So he wants to jump into it. And this guy, Orwell, he's like, well, we sent a raven to Lord Tully, and these houses are his vassals, are they not? He must control them. And they're like, oh, I think your raven was actually hacked. Yeah, we got a lot of messages about your raven. It turns out like it was really asking for some weird shit, and people were not happy.
So they are like, listen, we need to get Tully's house. Okay, we need to call Tully. And Aegon's like, ew, he's gross. And like, I don't like him. And they're like, but there's a guy with like a big castle. We should get the big castle. They're like, yeah, let's go get Harrenhal. That's really big. And they're like, yeah, Harrenhal's huge. Let's get Harrenhal. And he's like, I'm going to take a dragon and I'm going to burn every motherfucker to Harrenhal. From here to Harrenhal, we're going to kill everybody. And Alison's like, man, can we please stop burning everything down? We need the poor people. Do we not remember who's going to run Yogurt Planet?
And so, but Kristen, of course, he's like, no, we must be, the gods favor the bold. And Alison's like, but they did not favor Sir Eric. Well, what was wrong with Sir Eric? I mean, yes, he did retreat and join the other side. No, not Sir Eric. I'm talking about Sir Eric. I still don't understand. He was.
So Kristen's like, okay, listen. We can't just dragon everybody all the time, okay? We need the Riverlands, and Harrenhal's the key to the Riverlands because it's a big house, okay? So I'm going to go get some guys, and we're going to ride out there, and they're going to be guys that I've trained. So guess what that means? They do not fuck people because that's a sin, which I would never do. I would never fuck people because we have taken a vow of chastity. Am I right, babe? Am I right? All right. Call me. Call me. And they're very godly people, and we're just gonna go take Harrenhal quietly. Okay, we don't need the dragons, we don't need the big thing, we just want to do this quietly.
And then Tyland is there, and he's like, well, my brother Jason is raising a great army at Casterly Rock. In a matter of weeks, he'll be able to harass the Blackwoods from the west. I think that'd be pretty cool, right? Anyone? No? And then Orwell is like, well, should we not aim to unite these armies, then strike as one? And then Tyland's like, oh, the great military mind of the Citadel. I'm like, you know what, Tyland? I think you need to calm down. I think Orwell's contributions are perfectly sound here.
Well, they see a power vacuum, so now all these guys are like, oh, Otto's gone. Let's take his job, shall we? And they're like, here's what we should do. I say we should take bread from the south and give it to the north. And then other people are like, we need a train track. And then other people are like, you know what? We need cheaper hot dogs. And then everyone's like yelling and fighting. And Alicent's like, guys, can we stop acting like that? Because we just need to get the river area or whatever. Yeah. Can we concentrate on Harrenhal? Okay, let's do that.
So Kristen's basically like, look, I'm going to go in really quickly. I'm going to go there. I'm going to get as I come through, everyone's going to just naturally, turn to our cause. I'm going to have a new haircut. Everyone's going to be like, who is that? You will watch. All these people that were for Rhaenyra, they're going to be for us now. And then we're just going to strike. They will not expect it whatsoever. And she's like, but you don't have a lot of guys. You're going to be killed at the first stronghold you meet. And he's like, yes, but seize a haircut. I don't think you understand how powerful it really is. Okay, am I right, everyone? Am I right?
People kill people. People do not kill George Clooney. Don't you worry about me, Toots. I'll be just
It's going to be great.
She's like, but that's really stupid. And he's like, really? Well, let's just see how this himbo makes out because I'm doing it. And then Aegon's like, yeah, amazing. So are you going to take Aemond and Vhagar too? And he's like, no. That big ass dragon needs to defend the city. Okay. And then he's like, good. Then I'm going to war. I'm bringing Sunfire, the butchest dragon of all the fleet. Sunfire.
So Alicent's like, Aegon. And he's like, Your Grace. And he's like, You'll need a dragon. And he's like, Kristen's like, my plan was actually not to draw attention away from the Caesar haircut. I mean, just wait. Tomorrow, you will not be able to believe it. And so Aegon's like, well, and then what will you do if you encounter one or more of Rhaenyra's dragons? She'll want to answer for Sir Eric.
Yeah, and he's like, well, you know what dragons love to fight? Dragons. Okay, so maybe if we just don't bring a giant dragon, people won't see us coming. Okay, we're going to sneak in there. We're just going to sneak in there. He's like, are you sure? How about 5 dragons? He's like, no dragons. Or how about a semi-truck on top of the dragon? Because the dragon's a giant. How about a dragon with a clown's wig and a big nose that you can squeeze and it'll make a horn sound when you come through? Like, no. No, sir.
The opposite of what we're looking for. Okay, stealth.
A dragon and a George Clooney Caesar haircut. I'm not competing with the goddamn dragon, all right?
All right, the Caesar haircut's kind of my thing. I think we should all drop it. It's just going to be me who does that. All right, everyone?
Yeah.
So then
I mean, by the time Caesar comes around, they're going to be calling it the Kristen.
I'm really going to pioneer something here, everyone, at the very least. You know, kings and queens go... Fashion is forever. Am I right?
How did you just put pie in my ear? Sorry, Toots, but I did say I was going to pioneer something. Just had to have some gravitas in my first meeting, right?
You're quite literal. With that pioneer bit there.
Listen, Aegon loves the dad joke. He's got daddy issues, all right? Listen, I'm the boss now. Do you think I don't know how to work the room? All right, thank you.
So now we see Sea Smoke. God, these dragon names just keep on getting worse and worse. Last week I was like, I can't believe there's dragon named Moondancer. Now we have Sunfire and Sea Smoke. What happened to the ones that were like Bogar, Levar, Vagar, Xanax, you know? But Xanax. Now we have
Big benzos. I like first of all, I never pay attention to the dragons, obviously. Like I'm sure we sound like complete morons.
But they're all
really to everybody. But I don't pay attention to the dragon names, really. Vagar, I've started to. Why? Because he's bigger than them all. He's huge. Yeah. And so, like, we know who he is because he ate that little innocent dragon. Yeah. And now I'm starting to pay attention. And I was reading a thread last night because that's what I have to do after this show. I have to go read somebody kind of explain what happened because I don't know. I'm just like, I love her nun dress. You know, that's what I left with. Yeah. So I was reading and people were talking about the dragons and someone's like, oh yeah, well, her dragon, Rhaenyra's dragon, who we see later.
Right, was stolen, right?
It's small, but it's really fast. Or Baela. Oh. Was it Baela? Whoever we see later driving.
Aemon stole Rhaenyra's dragon back last season, right?
Stop confusing me. Okay, so some girl that we see today, which we'll get to later, is on a little dragon. And they're like, oh, but that's good because her little dragon can move quicker than the big dragon. So it's got, and they were breaking it down. And then someone else was like, oh, yeah, I don't think that dragon is bigger than that other dragon. And they're like, oh, yeah, Sunfire is bigger than so-and-so because I went to the official size chart for the dragons. And I was like, there's an official size chart for the dragons?
Well, they're one size until someone gets the lightning bolting, and then they all shrink for about 10 seconds, and then they get big again.
That is a different show. Okay, I want to look at. Okay, you keep talking.
Okay, well, so we see Sea Smoke flying over the sea and also making a lot of noise. And Mysaria is there watching, and so Ray walks up to Mysaria, and she's like, "I was told you turned back from your ship to bring warning." She's like, I was not believed at first. And he's like, well, you saved my life. What is the life of a queen worth these days? Okay, well, you have to answer everything like that. Do I have to answer everything like what? It's like that sort of like you're sort of asking a question. I mean, you were asking a question in that case, but like, can you just like talk normally? I talk normally all the time. I was like, you just did it again. The tone, it's just very annoying to me to talk like a regular person.
Well, you said your earnest desire was to flee Westeros. So what are you doing here? And she's like, and you let me go. You showed me grace, and you could have not shown me grace. So I figured I would come back to whoever's showing me grace instead of who's not showing me grace. Like, could you not? It actually sounds like a song. It's starting to become an earworm in my head.
Well, I think it's pretty amazing when people show me grace, don't you think? Amazing grace. Oh, no. I feel it. I feel like a song. It's on the cusp of my. I feel like there's something there. It's good. It's good. Actually.
Amazing Grace. God, how sweet the sound. Oh my God, write that down. Write what down? Okay, I've lost it.
What is it worth it to you to have it written down? Oh God, is everything a negotiation? This is number one hit right here. Write it down.
So she's like, okay, if you don't want to flee, then what the fuck do you want, lady? And she's like, a job. I'd love it to work for you here in your court. And she's like, oh God, just no one works here. I mean, last guy worked here, had a twin show up with the same exact name, stabbed him in the face, right? Who wants to work here? Literally, no one has left us a good Google review. Nobody.
Well, and you let me go. You showed me grace when you could have withheld it. I'm not often surprised. It's like, okay, all right. So 1 to infinite, fine. You can work in the court. Suit yourself. It's sort of shitty pay. There's like no pay, to be honest. You just have to figure it out. You can find rats, eat them. I don't know. I don't know. Deal with HR.
Listen, you're paid in drapes that you wear around your body that make you look gigantic. All right, that's what we pay you in here. They're not even warm, actually. They're still drafty, believe it or not. Very heavy and still drafty. But, sorry, what were you going to say?
No living wage, but we'll give you some royalties on this Grace song that we're working on, give you some points on the back end, and that should probably be good, right?
So she's like, I have secrets. I could tell you what's happening in the Red Keep. I know everything about everybody. I could tell you secrets. And she's like, okay, all right, fine. All right, well, listen, I've shown you mercy, but don't confuse that with pliancy, all right? And Sea Smoke starts screeching, and they look out, and this dragon is just having a fucking fit. It's like stomping around the ocean. It's like, I'm so mad. Why? I hate everything. I hate boobs. I hate them.
Oh, no.
What's wrong with that? And I love how completely emotionally out of touch everybody on this show is, because Rhaenyra is like, oh, my God. That's my late lord husband's dragon. He's grown restless of late. We cannot know why. Mizari goes, maybe you're lonely. And then it just cuts to Ray like, the fuck does that have to do with anything? Emotion have to do with acting out.
Ray's never had a pet or something like that. You know, you could tell when your animal's acting up, sometimes you need to get them another one, right?
Well, yeah, because to us, I mean, like, I feel like we're so over pop psychology-ized in our time that we're like, of course, your dragon's feeling things. But back then, they're like, feelings? What's that?
It's a dragon that's lonely.
It's a dragon.
It's a dragon. It can literally fly anywhere it wants. Go find another dragon, you stupid, imbecile Sea Smoke dragon.
That dragon poops and can cover an entire city and drown everybody in it. And it's crying? Really? Get in
Everyone
line.
has an emotion these days. Dragons, this new generation of dragons, I tell you, they're all about their emotions. Do you realize to make that dragon fly, you have to go up to it and say, I understand how you feel and your emotions are valid. And then it will fly. But if you don't say that, then good luck. Good luck to you getting it in the air.
Okay, so guess what I just looked up?
What?
I just looked up the size chart because I had to know. Do you know how many dragons there are? 9 million. Okay. There are so many dragons. Who's the biggest one? Who do you think?
Well, Balerion is the biggest one.
See, you're good. You're better than me. How did you know Balerion's the biggest one?
I'm looking at the chart.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, yeah, I sent you the chart.
Sent it to me.
Oh, well, I was testing you. It was a quiz. All right, and then Vagar's second, then Meraxes, the cannibal. Oh, I love the cannibal.
Who's the cannibal? So here's what I would actually really like to know. I would like to know, like, at some point, there was like a naming convention, like Meraxes, Vega, Tyraxes, Arax, Vermax. But someone got in there and started naming them things like Sea Smoke, Sunfire. There's someone in there just named Morning. There's just a dragon there named Morning.
I think that, I think, it's different generations. Some are like very formal, and then some are just like stoners. They're just very on the nose, Sheep stealer. That one's sheep stealer. It stole a sheep once. So it's just sheep stealer. That one can't find the remote control. I mean, seriously.
That one over there, Settlers of Catan, they just named it after their favorite game. It's embarrassing, to be honest.
That's Marissa Tomei over there. I just really love her.
Actually self-named. We said, who do you want to be named after? And they said Marissa Tomei, so there we go. But there really is a sheep stealer. Oh, God.
Yeah, there's a sheep stealer. They're like, that one's Marissa Tomei, and that one over there is like Peaked It Cousin Vinny, It's not the nicest name, but it's true,
All right, everyone. I want to introduce everyone to my new dragon. We love this dragon quite a bit, and as you know, we do not judge either by their looks or their names. Anyway, here's my new dragon, Tatum O'Neill. Come on up. Come on up, Tatum O'Neill.
Testimonial. Can I just say there are a couple worth pointing out here of the smaller dragons. There's a bunch. Most of them are smaller. There's a couple whales, by the way. Do you see the whales on the side? There's whales.
I'm cracking up. There's a sizing chart. There's some whales on the side to show like what these dragons are to size. So there's like a blue whale, there's a sperm whale, there's an elephant, there's a horse, and a human. So in case you want to know how big these dragons
That's crazy, isn't it? Okay, so there's a couple who are worth pointing out of the smaller fleet. Morning, who you already pointed out, is adorable. She's pink. Well, we don't know that it's a she. I guess we shouldn't like gender some dragon based on their color, but
yeah.
The what?
The Frankie Grande of dragons, let's be honest.
Oh God, don't do that. I love this dragon. Frankie Grande is annoying. Okay, and then Taraxes is like G.I. Joe themed.
Yeah, Taraxes looks very cool. You know what? I feel bad for the smallest dragon is called the Last Dragon, and I feel bad because who wants to be named that? Like your name should be the last dragon. You're the last one. I mean, talk about building in an inferiority complex.
Talk about a town without hope. You know. It's like, all right, your name is the best we could do. Now we're dying. All right.
There's Silverwing and there's Grey Ghost. And what's funny about this is that, like, you know that Grey Ghost is probably really jealous of Silverwing because Grey Ghost is like, oh, I'm sort of the same color. Why does he get to be silver and I'm just gray? And I'm a ghost.
Yeah.
He's a wing, but I'm a ghost. It's not fair.
And I also like that everybody here is about to do like Lord of the Dance. Like all the dragons, and no one's just like sitting down. They're all like, oh, they're like about to do the Karate Kid move where you're like, oh, and you do the kick. Like you lift your hands up like in a flamenco pose. They're fabulous. These dragons are like really fabulous. All of them. All of you.
All of you doing great work. I love this like Radio City Music Hall line that you guys have in your diagram. Sea Smoke, I actually love the color scheme on Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke may be my favorite.
Sea Smoke is pretty. That green. Sea Smoke is like a pretty kind of a green. Mm-hmm. I like Aurochs. That's like kind of Crappens blue, which I like.
Aurochs is all right. You know.
Well, we've only got 9 hours more of this show to do. I think we should take a little break and come back for part 2.
Let's take a little break. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Because actually, we're recording this late today. Sorry this recap was out late. It's been a nightmare of a day over here. Obviously, better now because we get to talk to you guys. But we do have to go record Crappy Hour, which is our Instagram live show every other week. So we're going to do that. And then we are going to do part 2 of this probably tomorrow. So we sure love you guys. Come back. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
So where we left off, we got all about like 5 minutes into the actual show. We spent 45 minutes and we got 5 minutes into the show. Rhaenyra has just talking to Mysaria about like, hey, like what's going on? Like you saved me. And she was like, well, I want a place in your court. And so Rhaenyra's like, okay, you can be my court.
So basically she's like, why is that dragon in such a bad mood? And Rhaenyra is like, Sea Smoke, my late lord husband's dragon, he's grown restless of late, we cannot know why. And Mysaria is like, yeah, maybe he's lonely. And then she just stares at her like, emotions can have to do with our behavior, which is so funny. It's like so old school, you know. It's just like Mima and Papa, guys, you know, they just didn't understand at that time. Basically at the same time. So Rhaenyra, now we go to Rhaenyra and Rhaena because, you know, we have to just be confused about everybody's fucking name on this show. Can we have a Lucy? You know what I mean?
I know. A Jennifer?
That'd be nice.
You know,
I've never longed more for a Michael than I have on this show.
I know. I mean, like, and they do throw in like a random, like normal name, like Daemon out of nowhere. But
Daemon's not normal.
Well, Daemon's much more normal than Rhaenyra or Rhaena. Well, actually, there are Rhaenas. I actually am friends with a Rhaena, but her name is not spelled Rhaena.
Oh yeah. It's just the similar, you know, I was thinking about the name Daemon. I mean, I know Daemon is a name. I just mean it's not like an everyday name. You know what I mean?
Well, try to tell that to the Wayans family.
Well, you know.
There are two of them there.
That's
Senior
true.
and junior.
Yeah, Damon Wayans. That's true. Okay, so Rhaenyra and Ray and Ray.
Ray
Basically, in
Ray
my
and
mind,
Ray.
it's basically the same person talking to each other. So Rhaena, for those of you who don't remember, is one of the kids. Okay, a lot of kids on this show. People just have kids and then die. You know, because
Yeah.
that's how it works in this world. So be careful, careful having kids, because you're probably going to die. And then guess what? The kids are also going to die. So everyone's
Yeah.
dead.
Everyone
So
will
have fun
die at
with
some
that.
point. So Reyna is one of the kids that Ray Ray had with someone from like Corliss's lineage. I don't remember who, because I don't think she had a kid with her gay husband, right? Did she? Did she
This
wind
is
up having kids?
Damon's. This is Damon's
Oh,
kid
Damon's kid.
with
Right,
his
this is
wife that
Damon's
died.
kid. Oh, geez. There. I mean, this is like this show takes the Brady Bunch and just explodes it. You know, it's yeah, that's right. Damon was with Lena, and then had Reyna, right?
Yeah, duh. Just follow the rhyme.
I know. Follow. It's very obvious. Okay, so
There's
Reyna.
literally hints built in for us. Like, the names rhyme. So,
I was like, why
Maina?
can't I?
I'm sure there's a
It's
Maina there
early.
somewhere. It's got to be a Maina and a Dana and a. Oh, they couldn't give us a Dana. You know,
They couldn't give us a Dana Delaney. That would have been great.
So,
Yeah. So
so
anyway,
anyway, she
Reyna.
pulls her in and she's like, "Listen, this sucks. I know, but you're going to be a nanny now because we're going to war." And I don't know if you've been noticing, but kids are dropping like flies. So I'm gonna need you to take all the cutest of my children and go babysit them somewhere with the Chuck E. Cheese. Literally, don't even care where. Just make sure you have enough tokens to get them through it, because those little fuckers are like skee ball addicts. All right.
By the way, I have to say, she says, "I want you to take Joffrey and go to my cousin, Lady Jane Eyre." I mean, Lady Jane. That's pretty. That Jane. Jane. You know, here I am complaining that there's not any like everyday names, but we literally have a Jane right here in the scene. But yeah, she says go take the kids. And by the way, you can take some like a small dragon, not like it's when you give your kids turn 16 and they want a car or something, and you're like, fine, you can take the Honda Civic. You don't get to go in the BMW yet, So take a little dragon, Storm Cloud.
So they're going to go to Pentos. And she's like, it's safe. I mean, the safety ratings of Pentos is like literally off the hook. It's the first place we ever had in this kingdom with sidewalks. I mean, the kids are going there. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry that they don't have a mall that you like, but you're going there, ma'am. And she's like, damn it. Why don't
She's
I
like,
get
my
to
mom
do
died.
fun shit?
She's like, my mom died there. Ray Ray's like, well, they've really improved so much since then. Like, it's really like they have some great restaurants now. I believe they just opened up an LA Fitness there. So I don't know. I think you'll like it. I think you'll like
She was
Pentos
like, my
now.
mom died in a bedroom, and I'm still in bedrooms. I mean, what am I going to do? Sleep on the street? No. Okay? Get over it.
So yeah,
Try having a mom who died in a bathtub. You know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna do? Just go around stinking? I mean, that's life. That's death. That's this show. Okay. There's
you
a
gotta
Chuck E. Cheese
go.
and sidewalks. Get your ass over there.
Raina's like, but what about my sister? And Ray Ray's like, well, I need Bela here. I mean, hello, she has a dragon. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to bring that up again. Yeah, no, I mean, like you're just as good, even though you don't have a dragon.
Yeah, and Rhaenyra's like, I cannot promise to make you happy, but I ask you, make this sacrifice willingly, because I will make you. And she's like, okay, geez.
So yeah, Raina basically says, "Your Grace," which is really what everyone in the entire kingdom says to royalty when they are so fucking mad. Your Grace.
Your
That's
grace.
that's their version. Be like, fuck you.
Yeah, that's
Your
like their
Grace.
version of ma'am or sir. We're like, you're welcome, sir.
So now we have Caraxes, one of the dragons, is flying through a storm with Daemon. Rough landing, some bad turbulence, I'm sure. And they land in Harrenhal. We finally get to go back to Harrenhal. It's raining. The place looks terrible, I have to say. Like, this is a place that did not survive the pandemic very well.
Well, it's one of those things like bigger isn't necessarily better. Like, it's huge, but then people, we know everybody knows someone who lives in a huge house, right? And you
Right.
walk through it and there's like cracks in places or like spider webs in places, or they just haven't, it's like they're too big to reach the light bulbs. So they can never get the light bulb, that you can never find the right light bulb stick to work. And so there's always like a light bulb out. And it's like, you're so rich, but it's just so cavernous and depressing. And then like you try and sleep there and there's just all these noises in the night from just big things cracking. And I don't know, it's not fun. You know, sometimes like a studio apartment's better. Like everyone's all up Harrenhal's ass, but you know what? It's a giant target. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's a real fixer-upper. And also, by the way, do you have to like land your dragon on it? Like this structure is not sound. This is not a sound
literally
structure.
is so rude when he did that. Like he landed his dragon on it. It broke some fucking
Yeah.
cobblestone
Stones.
shit. Yeah.
You have to live there, sir. What do you think? Like, it's literally like, I got home, I'm going to just crash my car through the front door because I got here.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
It's
like, I'm here. I'm at Harrenhal. It's my place technically if I want it. So I'm just going to crash everything. You know, and as someone going through construction, it's not just a couple broken tiles. I mean, that shit counts against you. And then guess what? It's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to deliver that. And then once you pay for it, they're going to tell you, no, I'm sorry, that's going to be 12 to 16 weeks.
Because,
what
you know,
are
they're
you going to
gonna-
do about it? You know, nothing. You're not going to do shit.
They're going to put those stones back up there. They're like, well, we got to fix these stones. And as they're doing that, they're going to say, you know what? It looks like there's actually a mold problem. And actually, it was a blessing in disguise that these stones fell off. And you're like, yeah, it was a blessing in disguise. But now I'm out $15,000 more because now I have to wait. I've got to get an inspector. Got to get it. Like,
100%.
they have to put up all the whole thing is all around.
And then they're
Harrenhal.
like, and we need another $10,000 for a water heater, which doesn't.
And now it
even
needs a
make
beam.
sense.
It needs a beam. You know, like this was actually never built to code. All that stuff.
That's why it would be good to be a king, because you could just like, or king consort rather, because you could just walk in and be like, this is my house now. You know what I mean? It's like the government. That's what, you know, that's what you're allowed to do. You can just be like, we need this now. Sorry. Bye. Sorry for the cobblestones. But guess what? I'm sorry that you put my cobblestones in the way of my dragon, because you just ruined my cobblestone driveway that is now mine because I took it from you. So, eminent domain. Am I right? Okay. Bye.
So Daemon gets off this dragon and he's like walking through Harrenhal and he's got his sword up. My heart's of course racing because I hate being startled, so I'm assuming something's going to jump out at a moment. But he's like walking through this. It's raining, there's lightning, and he's like bracing to be attacked, but there's like no one in sight. But he's just really acting like everyone wants to attack him. And then finally he hears like a noise and he like bursts through this door, and it's just Simon Strong just sitting there eating a meal, and he comes in with his sword. And Simon Strong is like, really? Another one of these young, over testosterone men walking into my place, gonna probably try to burn me down too.
Because Damon's ready to kick someone's ass, right? Like Daemon wants a fight with somebody, and no one's gonna fight with him, which is really funny. He's like, "Oh, really? What if I take your house?" He's like, "Have the house. Would you like the schedule of the gardeners and the maids and everyone else you have to schedule? Because I'm not doing that if this is your house. Would you really like to do it? All right, would you like to take the plates to the kitchen? It's your house now. Really? You want it? Take it." You know, it's like, I'm stuck taking care of this big fucking house. You think I want this? Have fun, sucker. So he's like, "I, Sir Simon Strong, Castellan of Harrenhal, pledged fealty to Rhaenyra, of House of Targaryen, first of her name." Well, I'll tell you this, it's not the last of her name.
It definitely
There's
is
a
not the
Rhaenyra,
last
a
of her name.
Ray, a Rhaena, a Dana, a Maynira, a Flaynira, a Craynira. That's the crazy one, Craynira. They're like, oh, hey, don't go near Craynira. All right.
So then he's like, "I swear by the old gods and the new." So he like basically bows down, and Damon's like, "Oh, that was a lot easier. I was just really amped up after my fight with Ray. I was really hoping to just like, you know, chop off someone's head, but maybe not." And he goes, "Supper is venison with black cabbage and peas. No red currant. Sorry about that." Damon's like, "I mean, of all the places I choose to take over, I choose over the one that has the most 90s menu. I mean, I don't know."
I mean, black cabbage.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that people just say to like make their expired vegetables feel better. They're like, this is going to sound better because I'm calling it black cabbage on purpose. I feel like that's old cabbage. What's black
Yeah.
cabbage? Is that any good?
I think black cabbage is old cabbage. That's what I'm going to say.
I feel like it's old too.
By the way,
And
and
he's like,
cabbage
"Why aren't you
lasts a
eating your
long
black
time."
cabbage? Hey, maybe you should fucking learn to spell it better, Strong, or like
Yeah.
sell it better." You know what I mean? He's like the waiter who never sells a special. And they're like, why doesn't Simon Strong ever sell a special? And then you like put a secret shopper in there to tape him, and he's like, "Well, we do have a special. It's like black cabbage and something. I mean, I don't know. Looks kind of gross, but people seem to like it. All right, what will you have?" And nobody's gonna order that, Simon. You know, you're fired.
Maybe it's just like purple cabbage, and they just, in an effort to make it seem more exotic, call it black cabbage.
Well, maybe they hadn't invented the color purple yet because
It
they've
could
only
be
got a
that.
few colors right now going on this show. They've got
I
blue,
don't
black, green, and a few reds
yellow and some
occasionally.
yellow. We have not
Some
seen any
yellow.
purple, I don't believe.
I don't think we've seen purple.
They
But
don't
yeah,
understand
we have to
purple yet.
remember this shit was done a long, long time ago, and they didn't have the full like Sherman Williams color wheel yet.
So I love Simon Strong mainly because
It's just
he's
black. Anything that's not green,
I
yellow, or
understand it.
red is black. All right.
Someone comes in wearing fuchsia. Look at that black top. So I like Simon
Sorry,
Strong.
is that brown? Is that a homosexual? Coming up with colors now.
So Simon, speaking of which, I really enjoy Simon Strong because I do get the sense that he's kind of like a theater queen. Like I feel like he was like, had Damon not been there, he was about to put on a record and listen to some Patti LuPone.
100%. He's like
Right?
listening to Traviata or some shit. And he also is named Strong, but you know that he can't even lift a remote control. That's also what I love. He's like, I'm literally exhausted. All right.
Would someone call a nursemaid in here? Good. I want to ask you something. Company or Merrily We Roll Along? Which is your favorite? Okay, everyone of Harrenhal, gather round. It's Sondheim night. All right, who wants to start?
Oh, God. Please don't do the quick lyrics. Can we just start with something? No more Send in the Clowns. It's like the easiest choice.
Although it is funny because Damon did just walk in here. Everyone get it? Send in the clowns? No?
So, he's like, why aren't you eating your peas? Because they sound gross. And he's like, also, I don't want to be poisoned. What about that? I've been to a lot of battles. I'm certainly not going to be murdered by peas. Okay, bitch? Okay. Don't come into my house and then start accusing me of shit.
Yeah.
He's so rude, Damon. He is so
Yeah.
fucking rude.
The food was
I
already
can't-
cooked. Yeah.
Why does everybody swoon over Damon? I think because he was like Mr. Wiz or whatever that Doctor
Who.
Watt. Doctor Who. He was
Dr.
like
Watt.
Doctor Who, so everyone's like, oh yeah, he's like amazing. He's like a sex symbol. He's a sex symbol you got. That guy's a dick, okay? I don't care, Doctor Who. I don't care.
I don't
who
care if he
is.
has I don't care if his question has an advanced degree. Okay, he's a dick.
Eat your peas. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Somebody made those peas.
It's like, well, I'm sorry that I can only serve you peas, but unfortunately, I used to have a garden that was filled with greens, nothing but greens.
Oh my God, what are we singing about? Allison's closet. Literally, we've got 5 colors. She's only chosen one her entire life.
So Damon's like, well, if you did poison me with peas, that'd be a really easy way to kill me. Just letting you know, like the old pea trick.
Because I actually love peas.
I love peas. I'm actually addicted to peas. Peas are like, I had a prophecy the other day that there's going to be something in the distant future called M&Ms, and until those arrive, I'm just going to have peas.
He's like, well, you could murder me with peas. That would be an easy way to kill a dragon rider. You know what else is an easy way to kill a dragon rider? Riding a dragon. It's not exactly the safest thing to do. All right?
Here's an easy way to kill a dragon rider, landing on an unstable wall and toppling down to your death. Thanks a lot for that, by the way.
No blonde parking. Did you not read the sign?
Oh, you'll have to move your dragon. There's street cleaning tomorrow.
I don't want them to put a club on your dragon. Right? So he's like, you're welcome here. I just offered you some black cabbage. You think everybody gets that? No. It is literally aged for like weeks to get the black. And he's like, well, but what of your lord, Larys Strong? What about him? And he's like, oh, and he says, who sits the false court of Aegon? He's like, oh, Larys Clubfoot? That's no lord of mine. Okay, let's not be ableist now. I know Larys has done a lot of shit, but we don't need to like pull out ableist language for the poor fucking guy.
He's, Simon's trying a little too hard to lean into that gay sass. So he's like, oh, he's a scourge upon the family, upon this castle and the family. Do you not think it's strange that his father, my nephew, Lord Lionel, the hottest one in our lineage, I'd like to add, perished by fire, and his son
No
too?
pun intended. No pun intended.
No pun intended, but it sort of was. I don't know. I'm working on some material for a drag show. I don't know. Anyway, they perished by fire in here, this damp place. Mm-hmm.
It was the first fire here since Balerion ended the line of Harren the Black, who, by the way, did invent the cabbage. All right, they branded the cabbage. Actually, it's going to miss that family.
Yes.
So even in the summer, we struggled to light the hearse, but only Laris Clubfoot could know how to burn things through water. Laris did it, Clubfoot, little fuck.
It's a shame because my nephew did make the best black cabbage slaw. So it's really a huge loss in so many ways. So Damon's like, so he goes, so no, you will find no loyalty to Laris Strong here, my prince. And he goes, your grace. As in, like, you should refer to me as your grace, which is like, whoa.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's the king consort.
I
Have some respect.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, I thought it was that he was basically, I thought he was the prince. You're right, he is the king consort. Okay, never mind. Everyone,
Well,
I'm so
would
sorry.
they call him the
people who
king
actually watch this show.
consort? I think they would call him the king consort, wouldn't they?
Yeah, you're right. In my mind, I interpreted it as he was trying to claim more power because he was mad at
I'm the
Ray Ray.
boss,
But you're
not
right.
Ray Ray.
I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way.
People who actually are like well versed in the show are so mad at me. I keep on making these ridiculous mistakes.
Oh God, those people are gone. Those people are gone. They can't listen to this show.
So the way I really interpreted that moment was that Daemon is like not referred to as your grace. That's reserved for Ray Ray. And so when he said your grace, it was Daemon's way of being like, you know what, I'm in charge now.
Oh,
but
maybe.
I fully reserve the right to be 100% wrong, as I
I
often
didn't think
am.
of it that way. I just figured like, hey, maybe I'm not the king, but I'm still the king consort, so you still need to call me your grace, bitch.
Let's see what his.
And I'm
look
not
up
going
what
to
his
fix your
title is.
cobblestones either. All right, Lionel weak, Lionel strong. Oh, whoops! It's opposite stay.
He is king consort, so I think you're probably correct.
I
He's
think I just
don't-
like saying king consort because it's like, oh, someone who consorts with a queen. You're not a king, but you consort with somebody who could make you king one day. It's like kind of a diss, you know?
Simon's like, well, speaking of king consort, we are just about to put on a king concert. Carol King, that is. Have you seen Beautiful?
See how many hits she's written, really.
It's a wonderful musical. I'm not really into jukebox musicals, I have to say, but Beautiful really lives up to its name.
So, everyone's uncomfortable, and he's like, oh, I'd only assumed that as a consort. He's like, well, then we're reminded of the perilousness of assumption. Do you want to die, you little fuck? He's like, indeed, your grace, your grace.
Yes, the perilousness of assumption, sort of like the assumption that that wall will actually support your dragon that's perched on it. Hello, can you just put it on the ground? We have a perfectly good front door you could use.
You know what you should watch out for? The perilousness of a dumption, because you have just entered a dump. Literally, no better stable in this place. You could literally drown in here with the wet walls or die of mold.
I mean, it's so sad in here that we have to resort to poisoning people with peas. I mean, isn't that ridiculous?
Whoops. I'm sorry, did I say that? Sorry.
I mean, your peas are absolutely not poison at all.
It's mean in general, usually. So, he's like, so what brings you over? Why are you in our part of town? I mean, you're part of town now since you own it. Your grace. And he's like, well, duh. Harrenhal is the largest castle in the Seven Kingdoms. Or perhaps that escaped your attention. Stupid! You want to fight, Mr. Strong? I can fight you. I can beat you. You want to pull out your sword, stupid?
David just did the equivalent of taking Simon's hand and slapping his own head with it, saying, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Like, don't
So
you know your
rude.
castle's big?
He's so rude. And Simon Strong's just like, yeah, but it's also a dump. So...
Yeah, because it was destroyed. Okay, do you not remember? Like, your people destroyed this castle with a dragon.
Yeah. So he's like, well, that's why we need to bring it into a state of repair. He's like, oh, great. You have opposite dragons now. Dragons who set everything on fire. Is that one thing? You have destroyer dragons and you have builder dragons. That would be nice. You know, at least attach a street sweeping something to a dragon so a dragon can fly through and just sweep up the debris that the other one created. That would be something, wouldn't it?
Damon's like, well, there are 40,000 swords in the Riverlands, the largest underclad host in the realm, and only Harrenhal is of a size enough to garrison them. And Simon's like, that would actually be fabulous. I cannot wait to see all those men just all stepping in unison, doing a little dance. He's like, no, I said 40,000 swords in Riverlands, not River Dance.
Damn it. I could really use some clogging in my life. It's been depressing as hell in here.
really
And
hoping
listen,
that'd be.
every floor is hard. I mean, they'd have somewhere to dance.
It would be wonderful, and we have plenty of oil for those chests.
So basically, he's like, those swords that you're talking about are presently at war already, just to warn you, okay? Because Bracken and Blackwood, the two baby houses, are fighting with each other. And Damon's like, why? And he's like, well, the answer to that's lost in time. Sin begets sin begets sin. One cupcake leads to another cupcake, leads to another cupcake, which leads to a cake, which leads to an ice cream cake. Do you understand?
Damon's like, I don't. I think you're actually just spiraling right now.
It's like, why are you eating so many cakes? I literally can't stop myself.
Listen, don't shame me. I want to listen to good theater and eat good cake.
Can't shame the shameless, bitch, all right? All I have are cupcakes.
It's raining every single day. Just let me have a cupcake once in a while.
So Damon's like, summon your lord so that I may treat him myself and turn them to our cause. And look at me, turning everyone to my cause, just walking into homes, calling them shitholes, and accusing everyone of trying to poison me. I'm a real mayor. Just send someone in here. I'll convince them of something.
Simon's like, well, that would be Lord Grey Vitali, but he grows frail and said he can no longer speak, nor seal his bowels. It's like, okay, that's a little bit like, how about you let... He really does not like Grover Tully at all. He is ready to shame him.
He's shaming the people who can't control their bowels, the club feet people. I mean, what must be nice being perfect, Simon? So he's like, I have no control over these fucking people. Good luck. And so Damon's like, well, I'll speak with him. People should obey their liege lord, whatever his condition, pooping on the ground or not. He still has power. So he's like, maybe the presence of a dragon will sharpen minds around these parts. It's like, ooh, man's got a big gun. Real scary.
I always thought it was the presence of Bernadette Peters would help around here, but dragon's fine too. So Damon's gonna go intimidate everyone and bring them to his side, and at some point we're gonna meet Grover Tully, and I'm sure it'll be a disgusting scene where he's pooping in his pants while he talks to Damon, because that's the show.
Yeah, that's how we roll around here.
So now we go
hideously murdered.
Now we go over to the Red Keep, and now Kristen debuts the much hyped, much anticipated, out of nowhere Caesar haircut. I don't know what caused it. I don't know. We don't see why he decided to change his hair, but now he has a new haircut.
He is now officially a season 2 housewife because first season, everyone comes in like their regular look, and by season 2, they debut their new face, their new hair, their new boobs, and all that stuff. And this is his season 2 housewife. He's like, I got a new job on this show, and I'm getting a new cut, bitch.
Yeah. Yep. Although it looks sort of like a wig to me, I'm not gonna lie. It sort of like sits above his head a little bit. So I'm intrigued to know. I want to know more about the hair, the backstory of the hair, and why it does seem like a wig. Is there like another like hairstyle he has to have for like a stage project in the West End in London, something like that?
I don't know. I don't take him for a very stagey actor, unless there's something where he can just kind of stare off into space, and you can just put whatever emotion you want onto his face, because I feel like that's what this actor does. He's just kind of like a stare actor, and then you're like, he's mad, he's happy, he's sad. You just kind of project whatever you want onto him.
There's like a name for that. There's like something effect that like just someone who's expressionless, and then we do all the heavy lifting of making the emotion happen. So anyway, everyone's getting ready. They're gonna go. They're gonna do his plan. His plan, for those who don't remember, is that he wants to go with his peeps and go across the countryside. And I think he's heading to the Riverlands, and he's going to convert people with his Majesty and Caesar haircut, and bring people to their cause.
Yeah. So Alicent is like, I'm so glad we're together, even briefly, Kristen. Even briefly. Oh, by the way, Richie Cunningham, my brother. Here he is. And this guy, of course, is a piece of crap. Now, have we ever met the brother Gawain?
I don't seem to remember Gawain.
I would remember a Gawain.
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
I don't know, but he looked familiar, so it made me wonder if maybe we had met him in season one at like one of the big parties. When they have like a big feast and everyone's there. I kind of feel like we met Gawain. Is it
That
Gawain or
doesn't count
Gawain?
at a
I want to call him
feast.
Gawain.
That
Yeah.
doesn't count at a feast. I met a girl last night. Well, I didn't meet her. I met her probably 20 years ago, and I've known her for 20 years. I mean, I don't know her really well, but I've known her. Like, I used to see her when I lived here before. I saw her all the time because she's a friend of a friend. This girl could not figure out who I was. And I kept saying, I know you. We're friends. Like, I've known you for years. And she's like, no, but I know you from somewhere. I was like, you literally know me. We're friends. And she's like, no, I just, where did we meet? I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to kill this person. I'm going to fucking kill this person. I was so offended. That's how I feel right now watching this. I'm like, am I doing to Gwen what she did to me last night? I'm so mortified.
Justice for Gawain. He has.
Gwen's like, how dare you? I ate a turkey leg on camera last season in a buffet.
Don't you remember I walked up to the king and said, Your Grace, and then continued on?
Yeah, because that's probably the amount I was in this girl's life. That, of course, she doesn't remember me, but in my mind, I'm like, she's probably seen me at like 4 events.
The actor who plays him is Freddie Fox, and he looks so familiar to me, and I can't place where I know Freddie Fox from.
Well, you're on the internet.
I don't think he's been in really much of anything at all. I think
I
just
think you
something
have
about
to have been in a lot of things to be on this show, right?
I don't know. Like I'm looking at his whole like IMDb is sort of foreign to me. Like he was in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which I didn't watch, so I don't know. There's just something about the actor or this character.
He's so
that seems
cute. Yeah,
familiar.
he does look really familiar, but of course I just watched him on TV like yesterday, so maybe that's why. The Three Musketeers, 2011.
Right?
But he's so young. He looks like a baby. Victor Frankenstein, King Arthur, Legend of Something, Hero.
It's a big break for him, I think. This show.
Oh.
I'm getting that sense.
Well, yeah, he's done a ton of stuff. Oh, Slow Horses. He plays the little asshole on Slow Horses who betrays. He's the guy who works at the Good Spy Agency and makes a mistake, but then blames one of his friends for it, and his friend has to go work at the Slow Horses. Yeah, he's a little asshole on that show. And he's a little asshole on this show. I love how casting people are like that. They're like, just keep casting them. Typecast them as the same thing they played one time. So then some old queen in a car can be like, oh yeah, he's also an asshole on another show. And they string it all together with typecasting. I love it. Thank you. Because most of us just don't have a memory anymore.
Yeah. Well, now we have a great contact for Gwen, who Alicent is like, by the way, Sir Kristen, may I present my brother, Sir Gawain Hightower? And now Gawain does not like Kristen. Right from the get-go, he does not like Kristen, basically because of what happened with their dad. And so he's like, oh, Sir Kristen, or mayhaps I should say, my Lord Hand. I'm saying that sarcastically because the way I'm saying it in my British way is sort of like, you don't deserve to be Lord Hand, but I'm going to say it like my Lord Hand as if I accept you, but I don't. It's the exact opposite. You get it, right? You get my humor, right?
And he's like, Sir Gawain, welcome to King's Landing. And he's kind of evil to Gawain because he's kind of gel because in this world, he doesn't know if the brother and sister are like exes. You know, like
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't know if he should be jealous. So Gawain's like, oh, how exhilarating to arrive at court after 3 long months on the road to find my lord father, who served 3 kings faithfully, unseated as hand of the king by this George Clooney little bang-permed mofo.
You know, the best part about arriving here is, sure, my father is no longer on the small council, but then when I look at you, you're like, NBC Thursday nights, 1994, David Schwimmer, George Clooney. I just wish there was some white sneakers so you could get some Seinfeld in there.
Am I right, sister?
Kristen's like, what's the deal with this guy? There, you did it. Thank you so much.
So Alicent's like, oh, you should take my brother to war. He'd love to come to war. And Kristen's like, no thanks. Busy. We've got plenty of people and no dragons. So pretty confident. And she's like, you're going to take him, fucker. He's like, fine, I'll take him. And then
Why does she want him, Gawain to be on this mission? She doesn't First of all, she doesn't even like this mission. Remember the small council? She was like, "This is rash. This is ridiculous. You're gonna just march into death." And then she's like, "By the way, take my brother."
I think because she doesn't trust, because Otto wants the brother, right? Wasn't Otto like, we have your brother? And also because
That's right.
she does not really trust Kristen. I think she's
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
I mean, she wants to bang Kristen. She trusts him in that way because they both hate Ray Ray. So she trusts him like that, but she's like, I didn't give you the position of, being the hand of my son. You guys are going to ruin this world together, you little fucking assholes. So she wants someone, I guess, to report to her so she feels like she still has some power. So she brought
probably
her
right.
gossipy ass little brother over, which
Yeah.
I love that in a brother and sister because that's what me and my sister are like. I'm like, I can't be there, but be sure to give someone dirty looks for me. She'll be like, I'll do it.
So he's like, fine. And then like Kristen and Allison have like one last little moment alone, and he's like, I thank your grace for her prayers, and request that she grant her favor, that her Lord Commander may go into battle with her blessings in his heart. She's like, okay, well, I got this handkerchief. I just blew my nose into it. I've been keeping it in my bra. You want this?
Yeah, would you like my booger chiff? Here it is. Put it on your wiener. And they're trying to do this thing like, here's my hanky, and here's I'm saying my lord a lot. And but they're giving each other like, can't wait to fuck you again eyes, and just standing in the middle of court, and everybody is staring at them.
I know.
Like, literally everybody's watching them, including Clubfoot up there. Who you see? That's why you shouldn't be mean to people, because it catches on like wildfire. Now I'm calling him Clubfoot because of fucking Laris Strong.
Don't mention wildfire in the same breath as Laris. If you know what I'm saying, it's too soon.
Yeah, he's staring, and he's not going to take that lightly. He's already pissed that he's being ignored. So, yeah.
I'll tell you who's not staring is one of the dead rat catchers. He's still hanging in the courtyard. We then pan over there, and there's a crow pecking out an eyeball. I'm like, okay, did they also hang the body taker downers? Like these bodies have been up there for a long time. And I think the point has been made, and now everyone's being punished because now it's just rotting bodies. And also, by the way, next time you receive your raven, just know that raven was eating an eyeball right beforehand. Okay, just think about that.
Well, wash your hand when you check your mail. You don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's like when I was a stripper. Like, wash your hands after you count all that money. Just kidding. I was a waiter. God, I wish I was a stripper. I always dreamed of being a stripper.
You could be still. Nothing's stopping you.
Oh, gosh, I don't think kink has gone that far yet. Okay, so then we go back to Dragonstone with Ray Ray and her advisors, and they're like, well, they're still not coming for me. No men, no horses, no ships, no dragons, no crows, no DoorDash deliveries that I didn't order that they're pranking me with. I mean, come on, make an effort. You know what I mean?
And she has all these dusty old men on her council that keep talking at her. And so we have one named Alfred who's like, oh, well, we must seize the hour and act. And they've penetrated our castle walls, and now the Riverlands are aflame, and the Battle of the Burning Mill. I named it that, actually. Is everyone cool if we call it that, the Battle of the Burning Mill? I think it just sounds really good, right? Battle of the
Burning Mill. Ooh.
Like, sounds good. Oh, Burning Mill. I love that. I just love it because you could just be yourself at Burning Mill. It's like, no, that's Burning Man. Burning Mill is my thing that I created. I named it. I named this battle that happened.
Wouldn't Burning Mountain be better than Burning Mill? Burning Mill's so small compared to... Not Burning Hill. Burning Mill. All right?
I was thinking about naming it the Bracken and Blackwood fight. Like, no, it just doesn't sound the same. I think Burning Mill. The Battle of Burning Mill is really good. I think everyone
just so
vote.
done. I mean, the Bracken and Black fight is like Farmhouse Modern. You know what I mean? It's like over.
It doesn't have a flow to it.
I see one more blue cabinet.
I think we can all settle. Battle of the Burning Mill. Okay, here it is settled. Okay, lunch. Anyone want lunch?
So, of course, the old guys are like, oh my god, you're just a girl. You know what we should do? We have dragons. I say, everyone get on the dragon and go burn a bunch of bitches. That's what we need to do. We just need to burn everything down. And she's like, guys, we can't burn everything down because it's a kingdom. So we need people to worship us if we're going to be in power. And they're like, no, we have dragons. So just start over. They're like Bill Gatesing it. They're just like, start over. Let's keep 5% of the population. Just kill everybody else. And she's like, I don't think that's a good idea, guys. They're like, stupid women. They're so emotional. They shouldn't lead.
Yeah, she's like, have you never heard of a Cold War before? Okay, that's what we got to do. And so then this
And they're
guy,
like,
Gordon,
cold cut war? Yes. We just had one last week. I mean, this guy got a baloney right in my face.
oh my God, when Alfred took the last piece of ham and then I had to have turkey on my sandwich, talk about a Cold Cut War.
So she's like, we don't send dragons. We secure victory with armies, not with dragons alone. And then they're like, okay.
Like, I don't think so. So yeah, they really just are champing at the bit to go to war. And she's like, no. And then they're like, well, maybe it's time for you to think about secreting yourself somewhere safe. She's like, could you just say, okay, how about this? Instead of saying that I need to secrete myself somewhere, could you say just you should go somewhere? Because that's really disgusting that you bring the word secrete into this. I understand the context that you use it, but all I hear is secrete in the grosser way. Okay, so if you're going to be on this council, choose your words better.
They're like, why don't you just act like some snot and go dry on a wall somewhere, okay, honey? Because we got this, toots, all right? You have boobies and we have wieners and we've got this. And she's like, okay, so you want me to leave so you can try and conduct a war in my absence? No. Okay.
Yeah.
No. There is one person who's going to light 900 candles under a wood table that's probably going to burn us all alive, and that is me.
Yeah. Last time I sort of was like out of town, you guys did a whole bunch of shit that really made it a lot worse. So, no, here's what's going to happen. We are not going to take some dragons and burn everything down. I'm going to get into a habit in a little bit, and then we're going to have a nice diplomatic, mission. Okay?
So they're like, well, we could do the war in your absence, but it's just like as a precaution and keep you safe. And she goes, that would be treason. And then she walks off. And then Rhaenys is like, this butterscotch, hold on. Let me just enjoy the last wash of butterscotch over this bit of cilantro in my teeth. Okay. This council would do well to remember that our queen wears the crown of my grandsire, Jaehaerys, the councillator. Jaehaerys, the Jehoshaphat of jokery, Jehoodery, or as we called him, the conciliator. A prudent ruler, the wisest of Targaryen kings, whose reign outlasted every other. Hold on. Even Aegon the Conqueror's. So, think about that. Men.
Rhaenys, question from Alfred over here, the person who took the last slice of ham. Question. When you
Alfred,
say
all right.
grandsire, do you mean grandfather or is grandsire a whole other concept? Just wondering. Because I say grandfather. Do we all say grandfather? Does anyone call it grandsire? I just want to know. I just want to get a level set on the terminology.
Levels it. So then Rhaenys and Corlys are talking outside, and people are working and stuff, and they're always so romantic. Like
This
it
is
doesn't even matter what's going on out there. They're always like holding hands and looking deeply into each other's eyes while she's like kind of sucking her bottom tooth.
Which means that Corlys is probably going to die this season. But they're
Always like that.
Yeah, but it's like they're really leaning into it this season. I think they just need to show like an actual warm relationship on this show. So this scene is also so like blocked, like there was like you could tell there was a director behind a camera lens who was like, okay, Rhaenys, you stand awkwardly against this beam, and Corlys will be under the beam, sort of, but talking to you on the other side of the beam, and the beam is going to represent that there's an obstacle between you two that just cannot be surmounted. Okay, now go.
So he's like, well, what's up, babe? He's like, what's going on? All these warmongers. And she's like, well, the council's wayward. She has a hard task. Men. You know how it is. And she's like, well, you're going to need to be by her side sooner than later.
Yeah.
So get ready. Get ready, my dear, my love.
By the
They
way,
start
this is
making
not-
out, writing poetry
Yeah.
for each other.
And it's actually
it.
cute because he's like feeding her bread, and she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, there's some soup." And then it's like the
That's
first.
love right there. Somebody just hand feeding you carbs.
I know it's the first time in the history of this series that there's actually been like a semi-normal conversation that's like, "By the way, there's some bread over there if you want." Oh, thanks. You want some soup? Yeah, sure, thanks. Where people are not saying, "I do fear that the march to the Riverlands is going to lead to imminent peril." It's like people just talking normally. So anyway, so Rhaenys is like, yeah, by the way, I bid farewell to Rhaena before I returned. And Corlys is like, yeah, that's great. I would fight 100 battles before I went into exile with nothing but prattling babes. Children are stupid, am I right? Am I right, Rhaenys?
And she's like, well, one of those babies that she's taking care of is your heir. So think about that. And he's like, Joffrey, a boy of 6 who knows nothing of the sea, and yet somehow. She goes, well, come on. It would displease neither Rhaenyra nor the gods if Rhaena were named heir to Driftmark. I love all these people fighting over power. What are you in power over? Everything's burnt to the ground already.
I know.
What do you all even have over there? You don't even have a Starbucks left. You're fighting over pennies at this point.
Corlys is like, Rhaena, Lord of the Tides. The girl doesn't even know a smidge about psychology. How's she even going to feel there? No, not Prince of Tides, Lord of the Tides. Different concept, Corlys. Keep up.
So she's like, well, there's Rhaena and there's Joffrey, or there's Joffrey. Both seem to be far from the creak of ships and the ocean's roar. And he's like, well, I don't know. I just wish our kids were more into, sea stuff. You know what I mean? How are they going to rule if they don't know the sea? And she's like, they'll fly private like every other goddamn ruler, all right? If people don't want to rule, so they get stuck at sea. Do you know how long it takes to go from here to there? Weeks, months, all right? They sent that little guy from what's that show? Slow Horses, all right? It took him literally centuries to get here, backwards to get here.
I have to say that I did meet a new best friend. His name is Hull, and he's named Hull because he knows how to build holes. And I was thinking maybe he could be. What do you think? Could he be an heir? I don't know. I think we're just gonna go bowling soon, and then I don't know, maybe get one ear pierced or something like that. It's okay, cool. You're having a midlife crisis. This person does not want to be friends with you. Our heirs are gonna be either Rhaena or Joffrey, and that's that.
Yeah, so he's like, whatever, bowling. And she's like, hi, we're going to war soon. We're already at war. He's like, whatever, what do I care? We have bread. So I think you're right. He's going to die soon. Because he's just too, unbothered by things to survive on this show. Anyone happy and well-adjusted is out of here, okay?
Yeah.
So, just dropped my mic.
Speaking of well-adjusted, not Ronnie's microphone.
This is a car office, all right?
Ronnie's recording from his car.
Are you there,
because
Ben?
he has construction. Yes, I'm here. He has construction in his house. So it's to save us from hearing all the banging and the sounds. The sounds that someday will fill up Harrenhal. So, in the meantime, we now cut to Rhaena, who is about to leave Dragonstone, and she's looking out at the water because that's kind of the TV on the show. I think we talked about that last season, that since there is no TV in House of Dragons, the main TV that they have is just to look out at the water. So she's looking out at it, and then a group of men come out with a bunch of baby dragons and also dragon eggs. So Baela and Jacaerys are behind her, and so Rhaenyra comes up and goes, I cannot spare a fighting dragon, but I send what I can. I will give you Stormcloud and Traxxias. They're small. They're really not even dragons. They're basically just rabbits that we put little wings onto, and
Little chihuahuas. Little chihuahuas who breathe fire occasionally.
they're just adorable. If you want to do a little play, you can do it. It'll be fun.
And she's like, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, she's like, it's for you to remind Lady Jane, spelled Jayne. I know. She always needs to be original, that one. Anyway, Lady Jane, I like to call her Jane, right? Am I right? High five, anyone? Anyway, let's remind her of her pledge to persuade her of her urgency of our need, okay?
Yeah, and, she's like, I don't want to go. She's like, you're going. But I don't want to, but you're going. But I don't want to. You're going.
So then Baela says goodbye to Rhaena also, and they're all, Baela's reminding her, no, look. Yes, will I be on a dragon? Yes, will I be thwarting attacks and attacking on my own? Will I be, filling the landscape with fire? Will I be, instilling fear in people below me? Yes, but you have some toddlers that you can hang out with, and I think that's just as good. So I really wouldn't worry about it.
Listen, I'm going to be here watching war, which is gross, disgusting. I'm going to be fighting people, flying on dragons, horrible traffic. And you're going to be playing skee ball and watching Nickelodeon.
Listen, will I be remembered in the history books for, I don't know, maybe leading an army, winning some great battle? Perhaps. Will you be remembered for, playing checkers with the kids in their lives? Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So over with Helena and Allison. So Allison's kind of checking. Allison's not the greatest mom, I have to say. Can we just take a moment and judge her mothering? I know that's called mother shaming in this day and age, and we're not supposed to do that, but she kind of
Why
sucks.
not?
Okay. I mean, your kid just lost their kid. Have you even been over there? What have you done? Like, do
I
something.
know.
Like, say, like, I'm sorry, honey. I know that moms aren't all about hugs all the time, but
By the way, we have
some would be nice.
one of our listeners wrote me and has a theory. And their theory is that Helena actually pointed to the girl, not to the boy, and because the people who tend to the corpse are like the women without voices, no one could say, "Hey, there's no pee-pee on this body," and so that the boy lives on. I don't know. I feel like that's a little far-fetched, but it's a fun theory to think about. So I'm just putting it out there.
I mean, I think that they would check to see if there was a wiener on the kid that was
I
alive.
think,
Because
but
it's a pretty
also
big deal to them. But I mean, I don't know.
they're also
Stranger
not
things
very
have
adept.
happened.
Yeah.
And this is a soap opera, and that is a soap opera-y thing to happen. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's very soap opera. But then they also might. The other issue is that they might notice a wiener on the girl who's alive, if there is in fact a switcheroo. So that could be an issue too, going down in the future. I'm just saying.
Well, I guess we'll see. Time will tell, eh? So, Helena's saying, I feel sorry about Jaehaerys, but I ought not to, I think. And she's like, really? She goes, yeah. People die all the time, especially babies. I mean, poor people die. Poor people have babies that die. I mean, we don't ever, let them walk around crying all the time. Like, why should I be able to cry? Just because I'm rich? What the fuck is that? Oh, do I have privilege? Why do I have cry privilege when my kid dies? No one else gets cry privilege. Like, wow. She's
Really
so
got over
sweet,
it.
Helena. Like, thinking of, even though she calls them small folk, which isn't very nice, but
I know. Allison's like, well, sadness is a condition of motherhood. I mean, look at you and your brother / husband, right? I mean, I've been sad for so many years now.
what a thing to say to your daughter. I'm like, wow, so you don't only not console her when she needs you, you're also like, yeah, having you really saddened me up. So, yeah, get used to it. So, she's like, well, there's nothing to gain from being sad, is there, mother? I mean, that horrid procession where all the small folk all stared at me. Like, I mean, I don't have more right to grief than them, do I? She's like, yes, we do. We're rich. She goes, but you are right that the stranger comes for us all, queen and commoner alike. So you have as much claim to grief as anybody. Like, you're allowed to cry. And I thought that was the sweetest thing she's ever said as a mom.
It was sweet. And Helena's like, and what about you? She goes, well, I love Jaehaerys, but my concern has been more for you and what you've endured. And so Helena's like, ugh, wrong answer, mother. And so she turns away. She's like, Helena. She goes, I forgive you, mother. And Allison's like, for what? You surely didn't see anything when you came into our bedroom that night, right? You forgive me for what? For being a good mother? There's no need to forgive me for that. She's like, no, I said I forgive you, and I'm not going to elaborate, but we all know what I'm talking about, and I forgive you.
So then Aegon is being fit for his armor because he so wants to take the dragon to war or whatever. And they're like, oh my God, you're going to be so amazing at war. I can't believe it. Look at, you're wearing like this famous iron suit.
Valyrian steel.
Valyrian steel.
They're obsessed with Valyrian steel.
Like, oh my God, I love your steel. It's so nice. You can like Windex blood right off of that thing. It is so nice.
The only thing is, though, that you do have to treat it with oil. Otherwise, it will rust.
I know.
Just make sure, you can get water on it, just not too much water. And don't use soap because it is semi-permeable and it can absorb it. So just only use water and then dry it off right away and put oil on it.
So he's basically surrounded by a bunch of kiss asses. They're like, oh my God, you look amazing. You look so hot. You're going to be great. This is a great idea. The king flying on a living. Great. And he's like, I'm going to take the dragon. Not a dragon, I guess. So then Larys comes in and he's like, there are rumors that the king readies himself to fly to war. Does he? Is that where the king's going? War?
Yeah, and he's basically like, Larys
So
is like,
subtle,
that's probably
Laris.
not a.
It's just like looking around, licking his lips, like,
It's like,
hunched over, like.
I know. It's like you're not fitting in with all the bros right now. He's like, one only that I would think it would benefit all of us to prevent our king from being brutally slain by enemies and his body parts scattered to beasts and his court come to ruin. Would you not agree? And then Aegon's like, I am literally wearing Valyrian steel. Like, nothing could kill me right now. I don't know what's wrong with you, sir. I was given the Conqueror's name and his crown, so I shall wear his armor to war, and I fly to meet Sir Criston, okay?
Yeah, and he's like, well, you're going to have a great time at war. Good for you, bro. Now, there are diverse rumors whispered on the streets of your city. One such is that your grace sends his forces to battle, and his courage and wisdom flies with them. He's like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm a badass. That's why people are saying that. He's like, another rumor is that his grace was outwitted his counselors and persuaded to fly to war with Sir Criston so that Queen Alicent may reign in his absence with Prince Aemond at her side. What about that? You're being manipulated. Manipulated by a woman. Can you believe it? I didn't really say that. I just planted the seed very, very subtly. I hope you don't do anything with that information. Surely I'm not manipulating you. I mean, Jesus, calm down over there. He's like doing a tap dance with a cane. Calm it down, dude.
But of course, Aegon falls for it.
Aegon falls for it, yeah.
Right. Because he's like, oh, shit. They are plotting against me at home because his ego can't take that. So Larys is smart because Larys is like, this is ridiculous for this king to go to war. He'll get killed, and then this is all going to go shit. So then Aegon's like, well, Lord Larys, my father always said he had no use for a master of whisperers, and yet I find myself wanting for one. I should be glad of your talents. He's like, oh, you honor me, your grace. So then the knight's like, yeah, okay, this is cool. I don't really know what's going on. Are we still gonna go? We're gonna go to the dragon pit now. He's like, I'm sort of like, I don't know if I'm in the mood to go in the dragon pit right now. I think I'm gonna just. Do you guys want to look at the sea? I'm gonna turn on the sea, just stare at it for a few hours. I just feel like binging the sea right now, if that's okay.
Then he just stares at himself in the mirror like, don't worry, you're still hot.
Yeah.
So then the knights are joking. They're like, well, you can come out with us. We're going to go, fuck some hookers. And they're like, yeah, this one's a virgin. And he goes, but you're sworn to chastity now. And they all start laughing. And he's like, oh, really? You're laughing? Because now I'm exerting my power over you. You cannot have sex. And they're like, oh, shit. Jesus, you take away the man's dragon and now nobody can have sex. Thanks a lot, Clubfoot.
So then now we're going to go to the streets in King's Landing where it's loud music and yelling and lots of people and the small folk are marauding. So now we see Ulf as he enters a brothel. And he approaches people. Actually, not a brothel. It's a pub or something. Who knows? Who knows? It could be a multi-use facility. But this guy Ulf, he comes on in, and he's kind of like the norm of King's Landing. He walks in, they're all like, Ulf! So he comes in, he's like, oh, lads, I've had quite a day of it. Not sure I'm much for talking, although, a wet whistle works wonders, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, he basically comes in and he's like, hi, everybody. Please don't ask me how my day went, okay? Just kidding. I am like the heir's brother. So I'm like Uncle Fancy Pants and I'm really connected. And the only reason I don't have super blonde hair is because I'm like a half brother, but I'm still like super famous, you guys. And they're like, oh my God, you're famous? And he's like, oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, he's a little obnoxious about this because he's just like meeting this merchant. There's a new guy, this merchant. And he's like not chill about it. He's like, oh, I don't know you. By the way, my grandsire is King Jaehaerys. yeah, he is. And they're like, you're lying because look at who you are. It is not King Jaehaerys. He's like, no, it is. It is.
He's like, I'm son of Baelon the Brave, bastard brother to Prince Daemon and the late King Viserys, uncle to the one true king, Rhaenyra Targaryen, not to be confused with Ray Targaryen, or Rhaena Targaryen, or Dana Targaryen, or Fae Targaryen, or Faena.
Crana. That's not
Crana. She's a real nut. Hormones got to her. Nutty.
Some issues.
Right.
He's like, yes, a dragon seed must watch his own neck when he has no white-cloaked godsman to do it for him. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, well, the funny thing is that you don't really look like Viserys or Daemon, or really any Targaryen. You just have long hair, so what's the deal with that?
And he's like, well, guess who else doesn't have blonde hair? The rightful heir to the throne, my nephew, Prince Jacaerys Valerian. They're like, because he's from an affair. Loser, what are you bragging about? So then they're like, oh, well, here's another nephew. And Aegon enters, and he looks like he's about to shit the floor because he's just been in here bragging and could get killed.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So now it's like really awkward because he just said that, and the king is like literally. It's not even like, oh, the king's guard is there, or there's like an official person. It's literally the king of like everyone is now in this pub, and he just said that like he isn't the king. So it's really awkward. But Aegon's like, whatever, he doesn't care. He comes in and he's like, everyone, drinks on me, drinks on the crown, which is really drinks on you because we're gonna collect taxes for it anyway. And by the way, you all owe me an extra sheep. So yeah, drinks. Everyone have a drink and have a fun time.
Yeah, so he's just being a drunk asshole as usual, and he's like, all I need to do is get you a whore. I got a good whore around here for you. I gotta get a whore for you. I don't even know a name. Who needs to know a whore's name? Yeah. He's just gross. So they're going through. He's opening all the rooms. We see someone getting head. I'm assuming
by the
that
way,
was a prosthetic blowjob.
It looked very prosthetic. It literally, it looked like a big plastic dick. But you know what? Last week, I made a whole big stink. When they had that scene of Aemond lying in the arms of a prostitute, and he was seated so strangely, it looked like they were contorting him so that way he couldn't possibly show his dick. And I had this whole thing of like, isn't it funny? Like this show, they just never show dicks. They're all obsessed with boobs only. And then of course this episode, full on fellatio we see, even if it is a prosthetic. And then in a little bit, we actually see Aemond full frontal. So I take it all back.
Yeah, we get some good Laura Dern dick in this one. So he's going through, like, tearing open the curtains and walking in on everybody boning and then laughing at them, which is what everybody pays to have sex for, to get laughed at by the king. I was like, can I have my money back?
Yeah.
I came in here for a little self-confidence and just got mocked by power. So I would like this blowjob for free. Thanks.
So Aegon finally opens up a curtain, and there's Aemond again, Laura Dern, in bed with, sex worker. And so Aegon's like, ha, 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 look, there's my brother. There he is. Everyone, this is my brother. And look, he's being cradled. Isn't that sad? His kink is being cradled. It's pathetic.
Yeah, he just laughs and 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 laughs. And Laura Dern's like, I'm going to get you.
Yeah, he's like, thanks a lot, brother. Thanks for shaming me. So he gets up full frontal and is like, look at me. I'm naked and I'm not afraid. Naked and unafraid. And he just walks out of there like, fuck him.
And he has swag too, this guy. He's like, I'm going to walk out nakedly and confidently. And he also throws the hooker under the bus. He's like, oh, well, your squire's welcome to her. One whore is as good as another. Because, he has to pretend to be a badass in front of these losers, really.
Yeah.
So then we go back to Dragonstone, and Ray's crying. She's like, wow, my kids are gone. Now I just have to put away these toys. Here's this nail and hammer. Got to put that away. Here's this book of matches. Got to put that away. Here's this serrated blade. God, got to put that away in the toy box.
And then we go to this big, beautiful field where nothing could go wrong. And Kristen... Well, the Kristen group is trotting along on their horses, and so Kristen comes up with his horse up to Gawain, and is like, Sir Gawain, halt, Sir Gawain, our company is camped back yonder. And Gawain's like, yeah, on the cold hot ground, which is why we make for the Bull, a tavern with an excellent reputation on the Rosby Road. Have you ever been Rosby Road? That's actually, it's not an actual road. It's actually the name of the web. It's like Yelp, but it's called Rosby Road. You ever heard of Angie's List? So Angie's List is for like repairs, and Rosby Road is for recommendations. Anyway,
Gawain's like, I don't care where you're staying. I'm gonna go get hookers with my men. Bye.
Yeah. So Kristen's like, yeah, but we're gonna wake up early in the morning, just so you know. And Gawain's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure my nephew is not gonna be mad if I go and have a drink tonight. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's like, we're gonna get laid and have sex and tell alert everybody that we're on the road to kill Ray.
Yeah.
Well, and so Kristen's getting so pissed, but he's like looking up at the sun, like, God damn it! But then he sees a shadow, and it's Bela and her dragon, or Rhaenyra and her dragon.
No, it's Bela
and her dragon. Bela and her dragon. Sorry, so many
some
names like other names in my head, swimming around my head.
Rhaenyra.
Grant is
Kristen's
like,
like,
woohoo, boop, boop, mama choo choo, coming through.
so Kristen's like, we're exposed. I was like, yeah, maybe you should have thought about that before you let all your men into a giant field. So they're like, oh no. So now they start racing to get to the trees. And then here comes Bela on Moondancer, and she sees them. And it's amazing that, by the way, she sees them because like their armor like reflects, and she has like. But by the way, between Bela and Kristen seeing each other, it's ridiculous. Like neither of them should be able to see each other, but they do. So now she swoops down on the dragon, and she's gonna just try to like scare them because she loves this sort of shit.
And they run and get into the trees to hide from the dragon, which seems to be pretty easy because then she's like, well, okay, I guess we can't see you, so we'll leave now. Like, you do have a dragon that could burn down the trees, you know that, right? But
Yeah.
I guess she's not really there to burn people, so
Right.
she just goes back to report that she just saw Kristen Cole. And they're like, how do you know it's Kristen Cole? She's like, have you seen the haircut? Okay. Anybody could recognize that stupid hair from space, okay? He permed his bangs. Okay.
Also, maybe next time don't swoop down. If you're doing a reconnaissance mission, don't swoop down and scare the people you're trying to do the reconnaissance on. You're supposed to be kind of discreet.
How are you going to hide with the dragon flying through the sky?
Like be chill.
You're like, can you be more subtle on your gigantic
She
warship?
was so
flying
high
through the
up.
sky?
She was so high up. She should have just stayed up there and acted like she didn't see them, and then maybe they wouldn't have run into the woods. But now she sort of like compromised the information.
Well, she at least alerted them that they're coming. So they're like, yes, we've heard that they're coming. And so they're basically like, let's burn his ass. She's like, oh my God, of course this is what you guys want to do. Like, kill him, burn him, burn him, burn him, burn him. And she's like, well, I've heard your arguments. They're like, war, immediately war. We love war, 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 war. I own stock in the war company.
And she's
Hey,
like, no.
guess what? We should burn them because I own stock in Dragon Burton. So the more people we kill, the more money I make. Let's do it.
So, by the way, another thing that happened out of this was that once Kristen's group ran into the woods, then Gawain was like, I'm in your debt. He's like, okay, I won't be a dick to you anymore. Okay, you proved yourself. So, meanwhile, over in Harrenhal, Daemon is in his chamber. He's put a sword through the notches in his door, so that way people can't come in. And he sees shadows of 2 feet at his door, and then someone tries to get in. It's like blah 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 blah, and he's like, what the fuck? So he goes, he grabs the sword, he opens the door, he steps outside, and there's no one there, and then he hears a noise, and then he goes into a room where there's a fireplace, and what he sees there is young Ray sewing back on the head of little Jaehaerys. And then Ray's like, always coming and going, aren't you? And I have to clean up afterwards, don't I? So it's obviously a dream sequence.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because they never show him like waking up where he's like, oh, now I'm awake.
But I think it's a dream sequence. Like, this is clearly like, because that's young Ray, right? So, and there's like the kid. So then he wakes up and he's like standing at a tree, and then he turns around and there's this lady. Her name is Alice Rivers, and she goes, "You will die in this place." I'm like, well, fuck you too. How do you just go up to someone and say that? And then she just walks away.
Yeah. And so then now we're back with Rhaenyra and Miss Arya, our favorite new couple. And she's like, what do you know about the movements of Alicent? And she's like, would you take her hostage or kill her outright?
Well, I would like to speak to her myself. Killing her would be easier. It's like, oh, well, if war can be averted, it is my duty to avert it. And I have a reason to believe that she may be of the same opinion. She sent a raven, by the way, and she's expressed her remorse.
She's like, okay, well, there's no way, absolutely zero way on this planet you're ever going to be able to talk to Alicent, because Alicent is surrounded by people. It's way too busy. There's absolutely no way, not even me, the lady of the whispers, can help you with, unless you dress like a nun and go on a boat and hide and sneak up through the stairs to the chapel.
There's actually a very simple way. It turns out there's actually a very simple way that you can do this. Just put on a habit. Take a boat. Those boats are unsecured. Everyone sneaks into King's Landing through those boats.
This show is so silly. It's like, there's no way, except maybe a disguise. So She does. She gets into disguise and she goes on the boats and she does all the stuff. And then you see Alicent, who, listen, I'll tell you one person who is banging the help that she's not supposed to be banging, that is like forcing religious rule over everybody that she knows. I'll tell you one thing she's not going to miss is church. Okay. A hypocrite will be there every fucking Sunday. And that's where she is. So she goes up to the church and lights some candles.
She loves those candles. She's been doing it for like 2 seasons now. Lighting candle after candle.
Well, because everybody just keeps dying on this show. Let me tell you, there's one thing in modern times I just don't understand, which is the candle craze. Literally, everybody sells a candle. Every store you go into, there are $100 candles everywhere. I don't get it, personally. But I do get it for this time period, like where they live, because literally people live to be like 5 minutes old. And then you have to light a candle for them every fucking day. That's I can understand the candles for.
So, Ray sits next to Alicent, and Alicent's like, why is this nun sitting so close to me? And so she finally looks, and Ray has like a little knife to be like, don't yell. And no, it's like this moment of like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So then Ray is like, listen, I think I've begun badly. I think maybe holding a knife up to you is not the way I should start this diplomatic mission. Let me start again. Okay. So you know what? Remember when we were girls and we watched that tournament together, and like, remember the day my brother was born? Like, and we knew then, men suck, right? They train for battle. They just want to fight. They seek blood and glory. They ruin everything. Remember? Remember when we said that?
Yeah, it's like, well, you killed my son. You killed my son. But then your son stole my throne. But then you said I was going to be queen. But then your dad said that my son should be queen. She's like, you're a liar. She's like, I'm not lying. You know I don't lie. I'm religious.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you do lie, because my dad wouldn't have said that. She goes, yes, he did. Because I went up there and your dad was telling me this story, and it was about how the prince is going to come, and the prince has been promised, and the prince's name is Aegon. And she's like, dummy, that's a story. I can't believe he told you that story. It's supposed to be between us. I can't believe you misunderstood that story. Now we're going to war because you misunderstood it. And Alison's like, that's just a story? She's like, oh, it's like Three's Company, where they just... they hear someone going, so Jack's trying to put on his shoes behind the door. Like, I can't get it in. Oh God, I can't get it in. And then Janet Snow's like, oh Jack, just put it in. He's like, I can't get it in. And Mr. Furley's on the other side of the door going like, I thought he was gay and that's why he was living with women.
So yeah, basically they're having like a glazed eye off, like their eyes are filling with tears. And she's like, it's a story about Aegon the Conqueror. And Alice goes, oh, the Conqueror. I see that now. Okay.
I thought it was about Aegon the Wankerer. You know what? Your father did not have good diction on his deathbed.
It's a little hard sometimes to understand someone when they have no cheeks. So she goes, okay, well, I think you should go now. She goes, Ray's like, there's been a mistake. There's no mistake. I made no mistakes in this situation whatsoever. I think that I interpreted it properly. And anyway, it was lovely to see you. I must go. I'm just going to go. I have to just throw up a little bit in the corner, if you don't mind. Okay, I'm just going to go. Bye.
So Ray's like, dude, now I put on a fucking nun costume for it. Now, granted, I look banging in this. I look so good. But still, I did it for you, and we're the only people who are going to be able to stop this fucking war. And Alicent's like, right, look around you, lady, okay? You've got your man over there killing children when that's not what his order was, and just, like, doing all sorts of shit that are sending us to war. Then we've got my fucking loser kids. You've seen them, right? Like, she even says something like, I have no control over this fuck. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what I'm going to tell him to stop burning things down? Good luck.
Yeah, she's like, it's too late. I fucked up. But you know what? Next time, people should say things explicitly. Get things in writing. Say things in writing. Okay? But now we just have to live with it. And then, Alicent runs off, and Rhaenyra's like, Alicent! And that's the cliffhanger. And next week, it looks like the battling begins.
Yeah. So they're fucked. Everybody's fucked. I mean, it's just fucked. When we all knew it, but oh my God, it sucks.
Yeah, sucks for them.
He's fucked. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for being with us today and yesterday, next week, and the week after, and years and years. Okay. We sure love you guys. We will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.